Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Holidays in Rochester are filled with lots of family-friendly events and annual traditions. The 2014 Light Up the Holidays schedule is out, and joining us today is Kara Osipovich with the Office of Special Events and John Pacone, City Director of Athletics and Aquatics. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So Kara, we know at City Hall when that big tree comes through the atrium that it's time to start getting ready for the holidays, and that's kind of the first holiday event is the City Hall tree lighting. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. This year we are going to be celebrating the lighting of the City Hall tree on Friday, December 5th at 11 a.m. It's open to the public, so if you work downtown, if you're around downtown, come. It's really quite a festive event. We have choirs from School Number 4 and from School of the Arts performing. So we have the little kids and the older kids, and we have special guest appearance by Santa. He'll be there to help the mayor light the tree, and then we also are going to have a drop-off spot for our Books and Bears program.
Okay.
So if you have a teddy bear or a book, bring it in its original packaging, and
so
we'll give it
new.
to kids in need. Yes,
okay.
New.
Awesome. Yeah. And John, we're getting there with the cold weather, building the ice at Manhattan Square, at Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Park at Manhattan Square. How's that going so far?
Oh, it's really good. This cold weather this past week is really helping out, making the conditions right for ice to be made, and we're looking forward to opening day this Sunday.
Okay. Now, how many days of cold weather do you need to get it ready?
Usually about a week before, you know, and even when the temperature does rise, we could do some adjustment with the refrigeration unit. It's just when it's really sunny or really rainy, it kind of gets sloppy out there. But right now the conditions are looking good. So
the only time that we hope when it's cold to get that ice rink ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kara, the next big event, the lighting of the Liberty Pole, tell us about that.
Yeah, so the lighting of the Liberty Pole is Saturday, December 6th. The festivities start at 4:30 right at the Liberty Pole.
Okay.
And this year we are hosting 2 local college singing groups. They're both the a cappella groups from the University of Rochester, the famous Yellow Jackets, and the all-female group, Vocal Point, which we hosted last year as well. They are completely wonderful. I really encourage you to come down right at 4:30 so you can see both of their performances. And we're our activity is right outside of the Sibley building, but the Wind Company, the company that owns the Sibley building, is actually opening its doors to us as well. So you can go inside, warm up if it's really cold. They are going to have a huge Christmas tree decorated in their atrium as well. And so yeah, feel free to stop in and, you know, get nostalgic in the Sibley building, see what they've done inside. I think they're doing a lot of work in there, so it'll be neat to see that.
And then parking? What should people know about parking?
Oh, parking is actually free on the lighting of Liberty Pole Day, which is wonderful. So any city garage, there's free parking. So the East End Garage, Court Street, Washington Square, Sister Cities, they'll all be free parking for the day.
Okay. And so after the Liberty Pole is lit, the mayor flips the big switch. What happens next?
So the parade begins, and this isn't just any ordinary parade where you sit on the sidewalk and watch. No, you are the parade in our holiday parade. It really is such a great time for families. You can, you know, push your strollers, have your kids walking in the parade, and all of our costume characters walk in the parade as well. So we have Santa, we have Mrs. Claus, we have Rudolph, it's like Gingerbread, Frosty, all of your normal holiday characters will be there to walk with us. And we process through the East End to the park where we meet up with John and his recreation crew.
Right. So John, what happens when the group gets there? We've done it a couple years in a row. It's wonderful. What happens at the park?
Well, it is quite a sight to see that parade coming down the road. It really gets everybody's juices flowing. They get really excited. A couple additional mascots from professional sports teams, the Rhinos, Finley from the Razor Sharks, and Spikes are also part of that parade.
Okay.
And when they come there, we ask Santa, you know, to give us the signal and wave to the crowd, and there'll be a fireworks display, which is very awesome with the backdrop of the buildings of downtown Rochester.
Fire
it's really,
nice.
Yes, fire and ice, exactly. So, you know, really a spectacle. Local dignitaries will speak briefly, and then we'll have some activities down at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Lodge, which is the former canopies for people who might be unfamiliar. Last year was the first time we did some activities down there, holiday crafts, some hot chocolate. Both Youth Voice, One Vision participants, as well as the Rec on the Move staff will be there to assist with those activities. And it's a way for people to stay warm. You know, you could be outside and skating, but when you get cold, you can go down into that warming lodge and do some fun holiday crafts.
Now, is skating free that night, or is there a fee for the skate rental?
Yeah, skating is free, but the rental is a charge. We encourage everybody to bring their skates if they have them, but you know, we have some about 200 skates, 300 skates that we could rent out. So if you don't want to wait in a line, bring your own skates. That way you'll be able to jump on the ice quickly. So
if you've never skated before, what do you recommend for people to wear?
Well, you want to dress warm. You know, the last couple of years have been pretty cold out there, but you want to dress warm. You want to have the hat and gloves and scarves, and if you have snow pants and it's your first time skating, not a bad idea. In case you fall, you don't get too icy. So
a little extra cushion too. So are these events open for people of all ages?
Absolutely. There's something I would say at all of our events for the whole family. And for young professionals, there's something for everyone for sure. Also at the park, we have horse-drawn sleigh rides around the park, and they're totally free as well. We also have an old-time trolley that will take you from MLK Park back to your car at the parking garages. So if you started out with us at the Liberty Pole and you marched over in our parade, you do not have to walk back by yourselves. We encourage everyone to take the trolley. It's a safe ride back to the garages, and warm too.
That makes it easier. How many people typically come out for these events?
Oh gosh, I feel like a few thousand.
A couple thousand people we've had. It all depends on the weather and how festive people are feeling.
Sometimes snow helps, sometimes it hurts, but Santa and Mrs. Claus will be there though, so I know that he'll be at the rink as well, so families can take time to visit with Santa there too, which is neat. Absolutely.
And then just a little while later, we have New Year's Eve and some new things this year. Kara, what can we expect?
Sure, New Year's Eve will be our indoor celebration because it's a little too cold by then to do much outside, so we'll go inside the Joseph Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center, and we will have, there's giant inflatables, we have bounce houses, we have obstacle courses, we have rope climbs, tons of inflatables, and we have artists, we have caricature artists, face painters, balloon makers, things like that inside for the kids. We also have Jimmy C, who is a DJ who does family-friendly music. We have a dance party. He does really fun giveaways for the kids too, so the kids love Jimmy C. And new this year, we have superstars Elsa and Anna from Frozen. This is a really big deal, Tiana. Yeah, you're going to want to tell your family. And we also have Rochester's favorite superhero, which, do you know who?
Spider-Man.
Obviously, it's Spider-Man. Yeah, he is our hometown superhero.
I think we're his favorite town, too.
We are, so he's coming here to bring in the new year. So Spidey will be at the convention center, too.
That's
so that'll be great. And then meanwhile, we also have
ice skating as well.
Ice skating will be open also. We kind of moved the time just a little bit back this year, so get enough people time to go to the fireworks. But again, we'll have the skating down at the Dr. Martin Luther King rink for about 4 hours beforehand.
4 hours, so it'll be nice and tired.
Yes.
See the fireworks, get some rest. Where's the best place to watch the fireworks from?
I would say the Main Street Bridge is the best viewing location. Again, we have free parking on New Year's Eve in all of our city garages as well. So park in a garage and walk over to the Main Street Bridge. The fireworks go off at 10, so you can watch the fireworks and then get home and get the kiddos to bed.
Is there a charge for the New Year's Eve celebration?
There is not. The New Year's Eve celebration is free inside the convention center,
Okay.
As well as for the rink.
That's wonderful. And so on the days when it is too cold, we do have some indoor ice skating options over at Genesee Valley. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's recently renovated. We just went through a little project and some great improvements down there, so some great opportunities. Pretty much we're open 7 days a week. We will be closed on Christmas and New Year's, but great opportunity to come down with your family. If you don't want to brave the outdoor elements, same kind of atmosphere, and it's on a huge rink that is college dimensions, so it'd be awesome place to bring your family and enjoy the benefits benefits of being indoor while skiing.
Yeah, right. Now, is there a schedule that people can look at online to find out when there's open skates? Is there a Learn to Skate program this year as well?
There is a Learn to Skate program at Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Junior Rink that'll be listed on the website at www.cityofrochester.gov and go underneath aquatics and athletics, and you can find both the one for Genesee Valley as well as the one for the Martin Luther King Rink.
Okay, great. And Kara, special events is basically planning these events all year long. What are some other functions of special events, finally, if we could wrap up with that?
Oh, wow. Well, the Special Events Office permits every special event that happens within the City of Rochester. So we process over 400 applications for special events throughout the year. So we are busy year-round. Our busiest season is probably from April to October. Okay. But as you can see, these holiday events keep us busy as well. So, yeah.
Probably the funnest events, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming out today. And again, if you'd like to view the holiday schedule, you can visit cityofrochester.gov/downtown holidays. You can also call 311. Well, every day they're out in our neighborhoods making sure that properties and work sites are safe and clean. City code enforcement officers provide a personal level of attention to residents and business owners, and they're always at your service.
Hi, Stephanie. Rick Rivera, how you doing?
The job of a code enforcement officer is very important because we all want to live in a healthy, a vibrant, a safe, and good-looking city. And our code enforcement officers are key assets that the city has to make sure that that's just the type of place that we live in.
We have a floor in the bathroom that needed repair. Asbestos testing and removal. Any lead issues?
Our code enforcement officers are basically the boots on the ground. They go out to our houses as well as our buildings to ensure that they are compliant to our city codes.
Chimneys, we check them for deterioration. It's important for these inspections to take place because the rental properties, and we want our renters, our citizens of the City of Rochester and children to be safe. Siding, gutters, roof eaves.
It's important for our code enforcement officers to reflect how our city looks in terms of demographics. And so, you know, we want our code enforcement officers, because they're actually out there interacting with our citizens and our residents, to be able to understand and relate to the people that they have to work with. And so it is very important that the diversity that is reflected in our city is also reflected within our code enforcement officer ranks.
Carbon monoxide detector. Buenos dias. We check that the drains are draining properly. You definitely have to have customer service skills because you're dealing not only with tenants, but landlords and you know, people from all types of walk of life. Everybody knows me in my neighborhood where I work.
Well, we have a fantastic program within MBD to help increase the diversity of our code enforcement ranks. And a lot of times in government, positions are kind of stuck, which makes it difficult for new people to come into that particular role. So what we've done with with this program is we've opened up an opportunity to promote some of our best and brightest code enforcement officers. And what that does is it actually opens up an opportunity to bring in new personnel. And so as we're bringing in those new personnel, we're making a conscious effort through this program to make sure that that is a diverse group of individuals coming in who are learning about what it takes to be code enforcement officers.
I'm interning at the Northeast Service Center as a code enforcement intern. It's time consuming, but it's well worth it because you're bettering the health of other people in the houses and their occupants in their neighborhood.
So the internship program is basically built with the premise that if people are exposed to the type of work that code enforcement officers have to do, that they'll be likely to want to choose that as a career.
We offer great customer service to our customers and to the community. Mr. Pataki, here, let me give you one of my business cards. You can call me when you're ready for re-inspection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rivera.
Okay.
And if you're interested in a career in code enforcement or would like to browse career opportunities with the city, visit cityofrochester.gov/jobs. At a press conference at City Hall, the Rochester Latino Theatre Company and the Rochester Association of Performing Arts announced a joint production of the Tony Award-winning musical West Side Story, and along with that, a very special youth education component. Here to tell us more is Annette Ramos, founder and director of the Rochester Latino Theatre Company, Ray Mayolis, Manager of Youth Outreach and Violence Prevention with the City Department of Recreation, and RPD School Resource Officer Moses Robinson. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Annette, there was a great article in the paper recently about the project and West Side Story, but it started off with your story and your first exposure to the theater. Can you share that with us?
Well, I grew up in New York City, and my mother cleaned Broadway theater houses for 27 years. And, you know, it was a struggle raising a single mom, raising 4 children, and wanting to provide us with the best of everything. But what that did for me was show me the hard work and determination of a Latino woman, and also exposed me to the Broadway theater community. And in so doing, really instilled in me a sense of love and reverence for live theatrical productions. And you brought West Side Story to Rochester. Is this the first time for the production here or for you? It is the first time that we are producing West Side Story locally. It is the second musical this year that we have produced. We did In the Heights over the summer, and that was hugely successful. So as a result, West Side Story seemed the next perfect theatrical production to do.
Okay, and for this, the youth educational component, a lot of partners, the City of Rochester as well, have come together to put this on. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it really started with a connection with the Ibero-American Action League, and they really connected me to Moses Robinson and told me about this wonderful program called West Side Story Project, which is an anti-gang program that has been successfully launched in Chicago, Washington, D.C., as well as in Seattle, Washington. So it was a perfect collaboration and just the sinking in once I met with Moses. And then we went to the rec center department, and they wholeheartedly and enthusiastically signed on. Okay,
and how's it been going so far?
Ray's been great. It's been going well. I mean, this is it's a phenomenal amount of work when we talk about intervention and prevention between the Rochester Police Department and definitely with the City of Rochester. You know, Ray and myself and other members of our team, you know, the synergy between us all, we seem to be able to always be in sync. So when Annette came to us, it was just part of what we've always done, and now Annette's a part of our team, and we are in the process of we're in the process of making a difference in a lot of the young people's lives. It's very meaningful, impactful learning for intervention and prevention.
Tell us about the group of kids that you're working with. A lot of girls.
Yes. So the first cohort of youth that we work with were mostly girls. And they ranged in ages from 8 to 15, in that range. But they were able to view the West Side Story film, and then we had some dialogue based on anti-gang violence issues, conflict resolution, anger management, bullying, and we were able to really work with them and do some real good work. And they seem to get it. They want more. And that's always a good sign when a youth comes to you and they want to know more about different situations.
Were you expecting them to come as young as 8 years old? Did you have to adjust any sort of the components?
I don't think so. And I mean, one is an 8-year-old. I guess in the city of Rochester, young people are exposed to traumatizing experiences throughout their daily life, whether it's a fight in the school playground, a fight at school, a fight in the rec center, a fight in the street, or any of those issues, or maybe even at home fighting with their sibling. So they deal with some of those issues at a young age as well. So it was I think we tailored it pretty well to the age that was there.
I think even nationally, when you look at, you know, the connection between the exposure to a gang subculture, the exposure to the youth populist culture, and the mixing of all these things that impact youth. I don't think it's uncommon for us to see kids are so influenced now by, in a negative way, by the subculture of violence. So I think in reference to your question, I don't think it's very surprising to us that we see young people who are in need of being redirected into positive behavior. So I think that it's very on point that we're seeing what we're seeing at that age.
And one of the things we noticed throughout the program, because they did writing, so we allowed them to do narrative pieces, was they identified violence in every single area of their community, in their school environments, in their neighborhood, on their street, even in their own homes. And these were things that they were already aware of. So an 8-year-old might have simple language, but she was still aware and had the mindset of understanding the behavior.
There was a young lady during one of the classes who, during the writing session, she had wrote that, no, I didn't see anything, but then later in the group discussions, she changed her mind and kind of shared some of that information. Can you expound on that?
That was a powerful moment of awareness, and it's ironic because when I first read her piece, I was sort of surprised and taken back that she hadn't noticed any of these issues in her neighborhood. And my first reaction was, oh, she must be very sheltered, mom or parent must be very involved. And by the way, that is one of the things I do want to say, that at Avenue D, the parent involvement piece was essential to the success of this program. So when she disclosed that later on, that was a powerful insight, because now she has a realistic picture of what it is and what violence and potential. We talked about how you look at high-risk behaviors, and now she had a much greater sense of high-risk behaviors and situations, and to avoid them, and some tools now in her own arsenal on how to protect herself and be aware to avoid those high-risk situations.
Ray, why do you think this is good for Rochester youth?
Well, one of the things I did was I asked the young people, what is a gang? That was their homework. What is your thought of what makes a gang? What is the definition of a gang? And when you have an 8-year-old saying the boys at the corner by the store telling you that she considers them a gang just because they're in front of the corner store, that's important to us, that we listen to their views of what they're kind of like seeing in their neighborhood. So it's very important that we start at a young age to identify what a gang is, and and the choices that you can make to kind of deter you from going that route. So, I think it's very important that we start very young. This educational process, this project is important to the youth. It's important to us because we get to share the message.
Moses, in the paper article, you said that you hope that this project and this show can bring, let people have a better understanding of themselves. What did you mean by that?
I think, we all have the capacity to lead. Every one of us. Ray's been in a gang. His experience as a child growing up, my experiences as a child growing up in Philadelphia, and Annette's experiences have all shaped why we're here today. And we're reaching back into the communities that we've come from, because many of the people that we deal with oftentimes look like us. And we have, so to speak, kind of made it. But what made us sort of successful is that we've learned to identify through ethnicity and through culture in a positive way what makes us strong, and using that identity to reach back in the community and not let that be a hindrance to younger people who might be called quote-unquote minorities in a negative way, and see yourself and your situation, no matter where you come from, whatever poverty level or socioeconomic condition you may be in. Don't use that as an excuse. Use it as a strength to empower yourself through education, through the arts, through singing, some creative form, using that identity to say, I can be better than what I am.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. And the best part, the kids get to go see the show. So thank you guys so much. If you'd like to see a West Side Story, you can go to kodak.org or 325-3366 for tickets. Thanks for joining us on CityWise. I'm Tiana Stevens. We'll see you next week.